find him again to be a very underrated player. And Trent was talking about how he thinks Fede is the most underrated player in the world. I think he's up there as well too. He might be the Ballon d'Or winner in a few months. Let's not get it twisted. But is he the best player in the world? I'll leave that for you guys to decide. He just misses out for me.
We've had all of the first legs of the round of 16 games. Not a single English team getting
Horror.
win, by the way. Horror in that one.
Horror.
So what we've decided to do is pick the best player from every single Champions League club still left in the competition. We're basing this, by the way, on league form as well as Champions League form. So let's get straight into it.
Yeah, you've come in the PSG kit, bro.
I know.
So you better have a good pick.
Better have a good
Big
pick for the
stack of
PSG
cards
side.
here as well too, man. This is a heavy. Okay, first and foremost, we're going PSG to start. Based on this season, I have gone for Vitinha. Now, there's a whole host of players that you can kind of go for when it comes to PSG. I think arguably when it comes to individual quality, they might have the most on display in this competition. We saw it on full display against Chelsea because they weren't that great, but in key moments, I mean, big players just show up. But I think in a season where there's been so much inconsistency and injuries with PSG, he, in terms of Vitinha, has been the most ever-present player there. And I feel like of everyone on PSG, his level has just remained the most steady. For the most part, he's an 8 out of 10 every single game. His passing accuracy remains so high throughout. He's added big goals to his game as well, too. I think he grabbed the hat-trick against you guys.
The lob.
Yeah, the beautiful lob
Unreal.
over Jorgensen. I just find Vitinha so beautifully poised when he plays football. Honestly, it never really feels like he's stressed. I'm a big fan.
Has he got one of the best footballing stories as well, by the way?
His journey is incredible.
Ridiculous.
I mean, Wolves, wasn't really seen as a big player there. Gone to
On the
Porto.
bench?
Yeah, for the most part. Went to Porto, made a move to PSG, and last season he was on the podium for the Ballon d'Or. I think he's a serious threat as well, too, to finish high in that award as well, too.
Okay, let's go on to Chelsea then. You've picked the man who's just signed a new contract, keeping him at the club till 2032. Obvious decision for you?
I think so. Obvious,
Caicedo
maybe not.
in there as well?
Caicedo I would have thrown in there as well, too. I think the disappointment for Chelsea is that Cole Palmer isn't more in that conversation, but I think he struggled a little bit. But Reece James, the first fully fit season I feel like he's had in such a long time. And that's always been the question mark with him. But he has proven this year that when he can be on the football pitch, there aren't many better than him. And he's played big minutes in midfield, played big minutes at right back, and I feel like he's just been, again, a picture of consistency in either of them. Big performances. That performance against Arsenal at Stamford Bridge still lives long in the memory for me.
Yeah.
And a game that was so built between Rice and Caicedo, I felt like he absolutely ran that match.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation the other day. When you're actually thinking about who's the most complete footballer in the Premier League in terms of like just looking at their attributes, I think he has a big argument to be in that conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
So good.
You would have gone for him as well for that?
I think I maybe would have leaned towards Caicedo, but I think he actually makes a good case in terms of quality-wise. I think Caicedo, at first half of the season, people were talking about him best midfielder in the world conversations, and maybe the quality has dropped off a little bit over the last month or two or so, but I think Reece James is fair.
Yep, next up.
Lamine.
Your boy.
Said with a smile.
For me, the best player in the world. And in my eyes, the best player in the world. Didn't have the best game against Newcastle, let me say that. I think Lewis Hall played a fantastic game against him. But I just think in terms of quality, I don't think anyone possesses what he has in terms of creativity, in terms of 1v1 ability, in terms of even goal scoring, which he's starting to really add to his repertoire this season. I think Lamine Yamal is on a steady trajectory to one day be looked at as one of the best players we have seen. But at the current moment, there are big players in the game. I personally find him to be at the very top of them.
And the thing is, coming through obviously at 16, we've actually seen him go through a growth spurt.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that
only
can be
18
difficult to adjust to in terms of when your foot size changes, all of a sudden you're 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
And I think he's adapted to that really well as well. And this season you've seen him pick up even more goals.
Lies, how do you think we'll be talking about him in 5-10 years' time?
Like I said, I think he's the best player in the world now. So I would imagine still the best player then. But I honestly think there's nothing this kid can't do. And even more so than that.
Still got more levels to go.
100%. I still find him to be an inconsistent finisher at times. I think he can be a player that adds 30, 40 goals a season when he's fully at his best. But the thing I like the most about Lamine Yamal, outside of just the efficiency, because that's important in the modern game, we know that. It's all about your stats these days. But he's the best show on earth. Honestly, he's must-watch television for me. If you want to go watch a player that makes you smile, like you're saying, why are you smiling? Because every time I watch him, I'm just entertained. I'm on the edge of my seat. I want to see what he's going to do next. I can't say enough about Lamine Yamal.
Let's get him up.
Then. Okay, next up we've got Newcastle. So our resident Newcastle fan in the office, Dolly, said that Lewis Hall was the shout here.
Yeah.
He said that Brian may be the most important player, but he thought Lewis Hall was the best player this season. But talk us through your thinking.
You know what? That's a valid shout.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was on full display, like I said, against
100%.
Barca. Where,
He's on lock.
Yeah,
right
he locked up
Yeah.
what I just called the best player in the world. And I think Lewis Hall in general is just a fantastic left back. He would be my left back for England going into the World Cup this summer. And I respect that shout. I've gone for Bruno G. I think Tonali was also in consideration for myself as well, too. But I think Bruno G, you look at the big goals he scored this season, the leadership he possesses. I feel like when he's not in that Newcastle team, you really feel it, despite how good Tonali and Joelinton have been in recent weeks. I find him to be the best player at the club. I definitely agree that he is the most important. And for all those reasons, that's why I went for him.
Yeah, 15 goal involvements this season.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I think he's quality for me. He's one of my favourite players in terms of proper offers that battle side of the game, but also has the technical ability to match up with
You'd
the
love him at
leadership and
Tottenham
the
right
mentality. To be fair, we've got a lot of players in that same position, but he'd be perfect for us.
I think
honestly.
he'd be
The
perfect
fight,
for
the
many
leadership,
clubs.
you know, everything
I
he
think he
brings.
could play for any team in the Premier League. I genuinely believe that. I think he would start for any team.
Do you think they're going to struggle to keep hold of him this summer? Because there is talk, isn't there, about the PSR issues facing Newcastle and potentially players having to leave. Would he be one of the names that you think is going to attract a lot of interest?
He's going to attract a lot of interest, but you know what? I don't actually think he's going to leave.
Yeah.
I think he's really
Loves it.
accepted like the whole role as Newcastle's
legend.
honestly, I think he probably feels half Geordie at this point. Honestly, you look at the passion he plays. I would probably look at maybe a Tonali in terms of who's more likely to leave this summer. I think he's really embraced, like you said, being the figurehead of Newcastle. So I kind of see him staying, to be honest.
He said in interviews before that his dad is a local celebrity in Newcastle. He said his dad gets recognised more than him because he goes out and about and he's more famous than he is. So yeah, Newcastle through
and you know what? I mean, I was having this conversation with a friend the other day. I find at times we're always trying to push these players to make the next step, to join a big club. Oh, what's the next step in your career? But I don't mind seeing a player of Bruno Guimaraes' quality at Newcastle United. Like, why not? Why can't he spend his career there and be seen as a cult hero? And we look back in 10 years as, oh, remember when Newcastle had Bruno in their midfield for 5-6 years straight?
There's a lack of cult heroes these days.
Honestly.
And I would love that.
Which leads me to my next point.
The next guy, cult hero.
That's Victor Osimhen, who at the moment is almost making himself into Galatasaray's cult hero. Another player that over the last 2 or so years has been rumored to be joining every single club on the planet, whether it was Chelsea, whether it was Arsenal, Man United, Barcelona in recent weeks has been a club that his name has been floated around. But he just continues to get business done for Galatasaray. And I came on this show last year, I came on this show in the summer, and I continued shopping him around. I kept saying people need to look at Victor Osimhen as the striker that they go for, because while these players that instead they're going for, the Ekitikes, the Šeškos, the Joao Pedros, are great and they have a lot of promise, this guy's the real deal. He's the finished article, and he's showing that in big games for Galatasaray this season. And more so than just his goals, this guy is a 90-minute nuisance.
Yeah, his
honestly.
work rate.
Yeah.
His work rate for a striker is, in my opinion, unmatched.
Bro, he's a threat for the entire back four.
Yeah.
The way he can run the channels, he'll pin Konate, he'll go for aerial duels with Van Dijk. And the thing is he doesn't have to score to fully affect the game.
Go look at that
you
game
saw that
against
in the Champions
Juve.
League.
Go look at that game against Juve. I don't think he scored the first leg.
Yeah.
Almost every single goal is started off his press.
Yeah.
He completely stopped Juventus' breakdown just based on how much desire he has in terms of closing players down, in terms of blocking off passing angles. I'm such a big fan of Victor
He's
Osimhen.
such
get him out
a
there.
ready-made Premier League striker.
Causing
as well,
Liverpool
Yeah.
all sorts of issues, wasn't he? So let's go into Liverpool now. A season of ups and downs for them, but who's been bringing the consistency?
Dominic Szoboszlai. I think Ekitike has had massive highs. I also think there's been games where you can see he's not the finished product yet. I think Szoboszlai has really embraced that leadership role in a Liverpool season that has been so tumultuous. I mean, last year, Mohamed Salah absolutely lit it up. This year is having a down year. Van Dijk, I think, has had inconsistencies. Konate next to him, likewise. But I just think if you're looking for someone that from match day 1 to match day whatever we are in the season, I think 30, I think Szoboszlai has been the guy for them. Free kicks as well, too. Goals, creativity.
Free kicks.
I think he just does everything. He's their own little version of Steven Gerrard. I wouldn't say he's at that level, but I think he's that representation.
He's doing
of
his
them
best
for the club at the
replica
moment.
act.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned Reece James being one of the best all-round footballers in the league. I think if you were to create like 11 players, one that goes in each position,
100%.
Szoboszlai would potentially be.
There was a lot of talk over the summer
for
about,
that.
with all these new signings for Liverpool, what does the lineup look like? And I was seeing so many lineups without him. And even at the time, no hindsight here, I thought it was crazy because, the work rate you're talking about, the press. Salah doesn't have the season he does last year without Szoboszlai covering an entire flank for him at times. I find him so not
name on
underrated
the
this
team
year because
sheet.
I think he's got his flowers now, but I
Yeah.
think his impact before the season was massively understated.
You're right, though, it's the leadership as well. I think at times this season when they have been going through rough patches, I literally am watching the games and they're looking to that man to step up the level and to take
Definitely.
things to another place. So yeah, definitely agree
They got to
with that
tie him
one.
down as well, too. Tie him down to a new contract.
Yeah.
Talking of work rate.
Oh, yeah. Marcos Llorente. I thought of going a few places here. Alvarez, obviously, I think was the big name. But I think if you look at Alvarez's season, he started off really hot. And then until recently, I think went through a stretch of the season where the goals started to dry up. I also thought of Lookman, who's only been here a few weeks. But I think his impact has really lit a fire under Atletico Madrid. I think he's been a jetpack to their season in ways. But I think, again, when you're thinking about consistency from start to current point of the season, Marcos Llorente has been their own little version of Fede Valverde in terms of being able to play right back, being able to play on the flanks, being able to play in midfield. He leads La Liga, I think I was reading this morning, in terms of tackles. He leads Atletico in La Liga in terms of top 3, in terms of tackles, big chances created, assists, passing accuracy. He is just their jack of all trades, master of a few of them as well too. I find him again to be a very underrated player. And Trent was talking about how he thinks Fede is the most underrated player in the world. I think he's up there as well too.
Right, let's get him up. Okay, as if Tottenham haven't had enough heat on this show already. This is an absolute violation from you. Show us the magnet. What's going on? I mean,
I've gone for NA.
I hear it.
Really?
I kind of hear
No
it
defense.
to a degree. The thing is I think there are a couple of players who do deserve mention, but I think for where we are in the season, I think we've had 12, 13 players out injured for the majority of it. If I was to go someone, I think Mohamed Kudus, I think for the first half of the season, had the most take-ons, was up there with the assist. I think in terms of impact, in terms of summer signings, he was there. And then I think Archie Gray has really picked up the pace since then and had to fill in a couple of different roles. Right back, left back. The same things you're talking about with Marcos Llorente. I think chipped in with a nice assist the other day as well. He's now getting more involved in the kind of midfield areas. And I would look at those two as maybe if there was going to be someone nominated, but
I just didn't want to offend Spurs
I just don't
fans.
think there's a definitive.
You can either pick an NA here, or you can take one of.
I mean, I even put Sarr down just because he missed a month for AFCON, so I thought, okay, he's a little less culpable than the rest of them, right?
Well,
I think
Kulusevski
Archie Gray is surely the shout. He's someone that's come through.
Archie Gray has
You're gonna allow
been
Archie
like a
Gray.
model of
I'll
consistent.
allow the Spurs fan to do what he likes. I actually
Let's get
thought it was
Archie Gray on
offensive
the
to
board.
Spurs fans to put anybody on the
Okay.
board, to be honest. But if he thinks Archie Gray deserves a shout, young kid, he's been thrown in the firing line, I'll
He's
give him
done well.
that.
Let's give him
Back-to-back
that.
seasons as well, where he's been thrown into the fire.
Little
Let's
one.
see then.
For Manchester City, I've gone Erling Haaland, which, if you're only looking at 2026, I don't think he'd actually be anywhere near it. But I think also at times Haaland is a victim of his own standards. And the way he started the year, like he starts most seasons, this guy was on pace to score 50 goals in the league. I think it's becoming a bit of a habit with Haaland that he starts the season on fire and then hits this patch of form where the goals start to dry up. I don't think we've seen it to this extent yet so far in his City career. But I still find that when everybody is operating with their absolute best, Erling Haaland is the guy. And I think City would be nowhere near a title challenge like they are pushing for this season if it wasn't for the goal-scoring form he showed earlier in the year. At points, it felt like the Erling Haaland show for Manchester City. So I
Let's
still
get him
go for
up.
Haaland.
Not a good result for them, of
Not
course,
at
in
all.
midweek against Real Madrid. Who have you gone for from them?
Ooh.
Magnet problems.
Yeah, don't worry.
Well, now he's
Now he's sideways.
Carry on.
We got it.
Who have you gone for?
There we go.
I've gone for Kylian Mbappe. I considered, honestly, going for Thibaut Courtois. Not only based on his heroics this week, but I just think when it comes to maybe the most important player for Real Madrid, I actually think it is Courtois. I think at times, like, the way he managed to keep that team in games is just lights out. But how do you look past the amount of goals Kylian Mbappe has scored this season? I do think there's a conversation to be had in terms of, do Real Madrid play at their absolute best with Kylian Mbappe? I think that's a big issue that is starting to grow as
Especially
the weeks
with
go on.
Vinicius, that combination.
100%.
Better when one of them's injured.
I completely agree. I actually think they play better without the other. But that's a conversation for another day. In terms of who's done the business for Real Madrid this season, who's
fair.
been the top scorer in the Champions League, who's been the top scorer in La Liga,
ignore it.
you can't not say Kylian Mbappe.
You might be able to
stick
streak
that up, I was gonna say.
Still passing them over.
Come on,
All
bro.
right.
Stop being lazy. Bodo Glimt.
What a story.
I've gone for Haug, and I think that's how you spell it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Haug. I went for him. I think Bodo Glimt, by the way, at the moment, in the Champions League, if you watch them, play some of the best stuff in Europe. And that's
do?
not trying to give like underdog story here. I genuinely think they play some fascinating stuff. Some of the football on display against Sporting was lights out. The passing movements, the interplay, it's just gorgeous to watch. And I think at the heart of it, there's a few nominees you could have gone for here. Berg has been really, really good as well too.
Yeah,
But
Patrick.
Haug, I mean, we know him from Milan. He had a brief spell there. It didn't really work out. He's traveled across Europe, but he's back at Bodo Glimt where it all started. 6 goals in the Champions League this season, most dribbles for them, most big chances created. I think in a team that's really overperformed where they should be, he's been the shining light. And let's see, can he get maybe another big move to Europe? Second chance at it.
Some great goals.
get him
as
up.
well.
Everyone's talking about him. Let's put him on the board. Okay, next up then, Sporting. Who have you gone for?
Luis Suarez, not the one that we all know from Barcelona. Fuad is grimacing a little bit. I mean, look, I just think when we talked about Gyökeres last season in terms of the goals that he scored, winning that award, what is it, the Gerd Muller award that he won at the Ballon d'Or ceremony? Those are big shoes for him to fill. Although I'm not a huge fan of Gyökeres, they're still big shoes to fill. He scored a lot of goals for Sporting.
He's got 31 this season, all comps.
He's made it look easy. He's made it look like, wait, is it anyone can just go to Sporting and score goals? He has made the transition seamlessly. So is he the prettiest on the eye? Not for me, per se, but again, similar to Mbappe. Like, can you argue with the goals that he's scoring at the moment?
I think it's getting about
Trincao could have maybe.
Trincao, definitely. Yeah. And then we're talking about goals at the moment. I want to give a huge shout out to Olise because, man, if it was any other club that he was playing for with his performances this season, he would be on this board. Don't get it twisted. But Harry Kane, I mean, just when you think he can't get any better, he just, in my opinion, takes another step. I think Harry Kane this year has arguably on form been amongst the top 3 players in the world. The goals that he scores is just a joke. He's made Lewandowski almost obsolete in the minds of Bayern fans.
Is he not the best player in the world this season? Are we afraid to say it? Like, his goal-scoring numbers dwarf Mbappe. His all-round play is better than pretty much anybody on the board. Almost. His chance creation is... Well, Yamal has not had as good a season as Harry Kane. Might be a better player naturally, but this season...
I just think he's never going to score more goals than Kane because Kane is a goal-scoring phenomenon.
His creative play, the way...
But Yamal, for me, is a better creator than Kane. And I think even the numbers suggest that. Look, I don't think it's wrong to say Kane is there. And at the current moment, the way Bayern are playing and the way England could be playing at a World Cup, he might be the Ballon d'Or winner in a few months. Let's not get it twisted. But is he the best player in the world? I'll leave that for you guys to decide. He just misses out for me.
Could that forward line win Bayern the Champions League this season?
Perhaps.
That's about good. This is why you were handing over the magnets.
They could definitely win it, honestly.
Okay.
When you look at him, Olise, the return of Musiala, Luis Diaz has been such an underrated signing. I think Bayern are the team to beat at the moment in Europe.
Cool.
Next one.
I've got for Carnesecchi. Look, Atalanta are probably having one of their weaker seasons in recent years. I don't think they've coped well with the departure of Gasperini in the summer. And every time I watch Atalanta, he seems to be the one that stands out. I mean, the fact that I'm saying Carnesecchi in a week he just conceded 6 goals tells
we did say this before.
But I actually think first of all, if you look at the quality of goals,
outrageous.
I mean, come on, Courtois not saving those. They're the Olise goals. He was laughing at the end of it because what can you do? But I just think in terms of keeping Atalanta in games this season, Carnesecchi has been that guy. I hope, again, I'm saying that name right. Carnesecchi, but he's just been...
Luke is on the phone now.
I think he's been the most consistent player for Atalanta this season. Maybe due for a big move as well, too.
Okay, Arsenal.
This, I juggled between a few players, but...
Really?
I mean, Gabriel, I think, has had an amazing season. I'm a big fan of Saliba. I think he goes massively under the radar, but... Again, I think the theme of this video at the moment is consistency. And Declan Rice, for me, has kept such a ridiculous standard up for such a long amount of the season. Then you add the threat on corner kicks. I think he's the best dead ball taker in the world at the moment. You look at the ground he covers, the impact. I always talk about impact in terms of if you take that player out of their team, what does their side look like? And I look at Pedri for Barcelona being massive in that regard. I look at Vitinha. But I look at Declan Rice. I think of all the great players Arsenal have, he's probably the most irreplaceable one in terms of the impact that he gives you. So for me, I went for Declan Rice.
Nice.
Final one.
For Leverkusen, I've gone for Grimaldo. Yeah, I like Mazza. You guys know me. Mazza is one of my favorite players in the world. Great young player. And I think they've got a few other players. But I think Grimaldo, in terms of this whole Leverkusen rebuild that they've kind of gone under, he's been the one to stay at the club and maintain a really good level in terms of the set pieces, the deliveries. Really did a good job against Bukayo Saka, which isn't the role maybe he's known for in terms of a defensive side, but I think he showed this week that up against one of the better players in that position in Europe, he can really hang with the best.
12 goals as well from that position.
Yeah. He's a specialist wing-back. I mean, we've seen a few of these now. You look at DiMarco at Inter, Frimpong obviously made the move to Liverpool, but I think when it comes to left wing-backs, playing in a back five, if any team is looking for that kind of player, Grimaldo is up there with the best one.
So sticking about Fuad, is there any changes you would make? Anybody you would have had up there that's missing out?
No, I actually think he's pretty much got it spot on. I'll be honest. I think I maybe would have had Elise. But the thing is that Elise, I enjoy watching Elise the same way you kind of enjoy watching Yamal. But I think Harry Kane, as you said, is you can't ignore
I think he's unfortunate there.
Yeah, you can't ignore it.
Such a good player.
All right, there you go. Let us know what you think of Lies's list of one player.
Go easy on me, please. Come on.
That is their absolute best. Yeah, let us know what you think of that at home.